like Rich said, I'm Evie Houtz. I'm the program specialist with Be Active Kids, and we're going to talk about playing your part, basically increasing play at your facility or where you are, and also about how to do a play daze. Talk about a little bit about loose parts and active play. And for some of you guys, this will be review. Carlos this morning stole a lot of my slides, believe it or not, and then Rich took away my thunder with the introduction too. So I'm here still though, okay? So we're going to start, we'll skip the sock activity and save that for a little bit later. We'll go ahead and get started. This is what Be Active Kids is. We're a signature program of Blue Cross Blue Shield, Foundation of Foundation. We work on a trainer-trainer model. How many of you guys went to Caroline's Train the Trainer or Structured Play Training? So some people have had that before. If you haven't, you will get it at some point. And then there's me. I work on the 3 unstructured child-directed play initiatives that Be Active Kids works with. So physical activity, it's any body movement that works your muscles and uses more energy than resting. And when we talk about physical activity with little kids, we're not going to tell a child, hey, let's not do physical activity. You're just going to talk about play or being active. So active play. And then when we talk about play, play is non-literal, free choice activities that are self-motivated, enjoyable, and process-oriented. So when you think about that, in our world, we want to increase that physical activity. We want them to be active when they play. Play of all forms is wonderful, but when we're talking about it, we want it to be this active, using the gross motor skills and getting the large body parts moving. And then, well, some people ask, well, what good is play? What do kids get from play? Well, they get a lot of stuff. They get a lot of intense development with physical development, strong, healthy bodies, fine and large motor skills. Stress management is a great thing that comes physically from physical activity or active play. They get the cognitive development, social development, emotional development. And you guys probably see this a lot every day in your centers. True? And then there's 2 different types of play. There's structured and there's unstructured. And Rich talked about the whole continuum of play, and that's kind of where we start talking. Structured is that planned, supervised, adult-led, and goal-driven. Hey, we're going to go out and play soccer. These are the rules. This is how we're going to do it. I'm the adult. Here we go. And then there's the unstructured side, that freedom of let's go out and play with rocks. Let's go out and play with a tree. Let's go out and play with sticks, where there's no rules. There is the child is fully in charge. They have choice and they can explore and do what they want to do. And here it is drawn out on the continuum. And you see on the far left, the unstructured. The children decide everything. How many of you guys allow that in your centers? To some extent, how many of you guys do the structured play? Everybody. Everybody does structured play? But you can see the different hash marks underneath and see the differences between how the continuum actually goes. And all of it is good, just it's all different. So now we're going to try to watch a video. And this is mainly of unstructured physical activity, and it comes from a play daze that we did a few years ago in Southern Pines.
All right. Yeah, here they come.
Wow! Wow! It's real bamboo. Cool. It's fun over here. Everything always hurts. So we can play with anything of my choice. Oh, I'm on the camera. Me too. Watch out. We're making that.
They had their living room going. They were working on a tire swing. It was very organized.
Now I mess with it. I'm about to try it. Here it goes. Whee!
Wow!
Well?
Yep. So what is this thing?
I just made it for it can be it's like going to go where it can like go straight down. We were going to put something here where it can like bang it and be banged it like it could make noise, and that would be like our little meeting.
Well, when we first started, it was Fridays we're supposed to target schools and child care centers.
Sure.
And then Saturdays was parks and recs and nature centers and Sunday school groups. So every year during these 3 days in September, it's the official PLAYDAZE event.
Okay.
And then we're just trying to carry that and do PLAYDAZE throughout the year.
What are you guys building with these boxes?
Like walls.
Okay.
How do you take it off? Let me see if it... I just need to take that paper off. Let me get that. Okay, so we need a pen.
So can you girls tell me what you guys have back here all set up?
This is the kitchen. This is the living room, and that's the bathroom.
Alright. What'd you make your kitchen out of?
Boxes, and then we have pots and pans. Pots and pans and pots and rocks.
Okay, what's the living room?
Tires and a blanket. Oh, and we're working on a tire swing.
In the tire swing, nice. And what's the bathroom made out of?
A tub. And a beach ball. And some like water.
Because every bathroom needs a beach ball, right?
Right. That dude scary faces?
That one's gonna be really hard. I can do a shark like on your cheek. Is that okay?
I'm gonna get this plate. Let me hold this. I think I'm gonna get it.
What are you guys building here?
It's a tiger's bit. Yeah, tiger's in. Because 3 of us have tiger face paint.
So, can you tell me what this is?
And you are who?
Or maybe come and smell them and see if you can figure out what they might be.
Oh yeah, you gotta guess.
What is that? Have you ever smelled it before? You got it. It's a spice called turmeric.
Let me smell this. I think that is
Coffee. You got it. Woo! What about that one? You can see. Look inside. You can see through the glass. What do you think that might be?
flowers.
No.
Oh wait, cabbage.
Yes. Very good. So down here there's some fabric, and pick up one piece, and you can choose a color.
I'm choosing purple.
And put the whole thing in there, and then stir it around and mix it like a soup.
Do we get to keep it?
You can definitely keep it.
Can you guys tell me about what you're doing?
I don't know what I'm doing yet.
No? So can you tell me how it feels?
Soft. Gushy.
Soft and squishy?
Alien slug.
Hey, little man, you have time right now. There you go.
Awesome. Look, you got it down pat. It said, go.
Y'all ready to do that at y'all's facility? So that was Playdaze a few years ago at Southern Pines.
And the one thing just to talk about there is you go into your centers and communities, what you saw there, you can look at it in different lenses. Obviously, we look at it in a health lens, with physical activity being the primary focus. So a lot of what they were doing there really afforded them the opportunities to be physically active, whether it was lifting heavy tires, moving and rolling them, balancing, twisting, turning. So a lot of these motor development skills or movement concepts, that happens there. But you also have an academic lens or an emotional lens that you can look through, and all of that's happening as well. So the point that most of this we'll talk about is that we can get our kids very active by providing them very child-directed play opportunities. So that's what that one, you'll see a little bit more in another one too. But we've got to allow them to have those opportunities versus the overprotection and the risk part that Carl was talking about this morning.
Or the barriers that are on the screen right now about, barriers to unstructured play. Why don't parents, providers allow their kids to get involved in unstructured play? And these are just some that we pulled out. The media, you hear these crazy stories in the media every day about somebody was arrested because they let their child stay in the park by themselves, or something happened one time across the country and that prevents somebody from allowing their child to go out and play by themselves. Horrific stories you hear that are 1 in a million, or one in millions and millions or whatever. Screen time is another big thing. Kids love to be in front of the iPad, the TV, the computer. Sometimes, as Carlos was saying, that's how parents parent their kids. They allow them to have that screen time. Well, that screen time takes away from time for unstructured play where they can be outside, climbing a tree, getting dirty, building a fort, whatever. Perceived risk or danger. Yes, there are dangerous things out there, but a lot of those dangers are just perceived. If you fall out of a tree, yes, you may get a scrape, you may break an arm or leg, but it's not going to be horrific accident. How many of you guys broke a leg or had a scrape on your knee or your arm when you were growing up? I think we all did. So, things do happen. Parental fears, lack of materials or equipment. Some parents won't allow their children to play with anything but Hasbro or Milton Bradley or Melissa and Doug or whatever. They think that a milk bottle or a stick are too dangerous of things. Well, we have a bunch of one-pagers that can give you ideas that they're not. My kids play with sticks all the time. They play with milk jugs, they play with scraps, they play with whatever, and they have fun. They're fine, they haven't been injured yet. So they're good. Scheduling in town, some parents over-program their kids too. You go out to the local softball fields or football fields or wherever, and you see kids as young as 3 years old that are starting soccer, or they have soccer, they have music class, they have art class already at 3 and 4 years old. So their kids are over-programmed, and they don't have the time to go out and just be a kid. When we were a kid, you get on your bike, when you get out of school, you go play at a friend's house, you just go. And it wasn't like you had 16 events that you were scheduled to be at. And then policies and regulations. Right now there's a ton of policies and regulations that either they're accurate and they prevent child care providers from allowing children to do something, or their interpretation of that regulation is misconstrued, so you don't know exactly how far you can go with using loose parts or using non-traditional physical activity equipment. Informal spaces and informal places. How many of you guys used to go out and play in the woods and your parents were totally cool with it, or go down to the creek and catch crawdads? I grew up doing that. And my parents were like, she's fine, she won't drown. I'm still here today, but those kind of places are getting more and more limited. And then on the other hand, you have playgrounds. There's uninteresting playgrounds. Kids go to a playground, they play a few times, they do the monkey bars. Once they've mastered that, what are they supposed to do? It's stagnant, it never changes. So the playgrounds become uninteresting to kids. So they're kind of like, they're done that, what's next? Especially in the media age that we live in, where kids are getting instant gratification from a computer or an iPad, where they see new stuff all the time that pops up. That's what the kids want in the playgrounds too, new stuff. And you can do that a whole lot easier with loose parts than you can with like structured playgrounds. I'm not saying they're bad, but adding that element of newness and something they're not familiar with is always good. So knowing all these barriers, around 2010, Blue Cross Blue Shield, North Carolina Foundation, and Be Active Kids, and a bunch of partners that you'll see on the next screen, came up with an Early Childhood Active Play Alliance. And with about $100,000, we started thinking about what do we need to do to get these barriers out of the way. We need to overcome these barriers. We need to get kids more physically active with unstructured play. So the first thing that came up was, so these are our partners that we worked with, everyone from NLI, the Zoo, NCAEYC, the Scrap Exchange, which is in Durham, the Children's Scrap Store, which is in the UK. So all these partners came up with 3 initiatives. We started with PLAYDAZE, which you heard Rhonda talk about in the video, which was the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, of just having a day of play, just completely dedicated to play. And once we had that, we're like, okay, so now we have a day of play, but what about these people who want to have play at their site all the time? So in the middle, you'll see a picture of the play pod. So that's a stationary unit that was filled with scraps where people could have play on demand. They can go out to their shed, pull stuff out. We have a couple of those around North Carolina. So once we had that, we also were thinking, okay, people want to have play days and they can't store all their loose parts and their scrap, but a lot of people want to have, what can we do? So we came up with the PLAYMOBILE, and that's that big unit you see in the back that says play, and we'll take some time after we finish talking here to go outside and visit that. So we came up with these 3 initiatives. And the objectives were to engage more children in unstructured loose parts play, to diversify play opportunities, give them something different to do, something different each time they go out, to achieve a greater physical activity during outdoor playtime. A lot of times if you go to a school or a center, you go out and look at the playground and not all the kids are playing. They're sitting in the sandbox or they're chit-chatting. They're not really getting the physical activity they need. So trying to give them more opportunities to be playful and to be active while they're outside. To reduce conflict during outdoor playtime, not so much for the early childhood folks, but for the elementary schools. We worked with a couple elementary schools, and that was one of the big things. They would have fights over a certain ball or a certain piece of equipment. So if we had different materials out there, hopefully we would help with that conflict. And to improve creative thinking and problem solving. There's nothing like picking up a loose part that you have no clue what you're going to do with and trying to figure out, what can I do with this? How do I play with this? So you guys are with Shape and See, and y'all go by the knapsack, where the infant and child physical activity best practices. That's what y'all are trying to hit. So these are some of the best practices that you guys can hit by doing loose parts play, play pods, PLAYMOBILE, or PLAYDAZE. Like right now, you're learning about it, so you're getting that professional development. The amount of time provided to the preschool children and toddlers for indoor and outdoor physical activity, that can be hit by playing with loose parts. Because you can play with loose parts inside and outside. Portable play equipment, well, all this stuff is portable because we drug it in here and we drug it outside. The teacher's role during physical activity and playtime, you're there. And incorporating physical activity into the classroom routines, transition, and planned activities. A lot of this is just being creative and being willing to try new things. And we have a couple experts out here on knapsack. Ellie is over here. She's an expert in knapsack. And then we also have Andy Ellison over here. She's an expert with loose parts and unstructured play. She has one of the best play days around. So you guys, if you have questions, you don't want to ask me, you can ask Andy and Ellie too. And then outdoor play and learning. These are the best practices for outdoor play and learning. Again, your professional development, the time to play and learning is provided to children, preschool children, toddlers, different types of activities outdoors. You can do just about anything outdoors. Seasonal games, portable equipment. Also outdoor play, you can find shade. The spaces are different. You can do multiple play areas or play settings, and we'll see a lot of that when we go outside. And then the portable play equipment is also available outside. So what are loose parts? Has everybody used loose parts before? Everybody knows what loose parts are. Great. So it's just basically things that you can move around, design, undo, redo, and they're more stimulating and engaging than your static environments. There's some more stuff about loose parts. You see the balls, the hoops, the cardboard tubes, all fun stuff for kids. Making sure they're age appropriate, open-ended is always good. Accessible is a definite. If you have things up high and you're on the playground, that's not going to work for the kids. So keep them in a designated area so that they have access to it. It's huge. And why loose parts? It helps with creative thinking, promotes scientific, experimental, and trial and error. You discover connections and gain understanding of resources. It allows for risk-taking. This little cardboard tube right here that we have, a lot of kids will get on the inside of it and hide. So to them, that's taking a risk and hiding. And some kids will stand on top of it or roll over top of it. To them, that's risk-taking. So it allows for them to take their own type of risk, which is great. It increases physical activity, both structured and unstructured. And it supports exploration and independent idea development. Again, if you get a bag of loose parts and you're just given these parts and it's, okay, play with them, that's all you have to play with, you'll figure yourself out to play with, which will do the same. And these are just a list of some of the loose parts. Plastic jars and bottles, spars, rope string, natural items, rocks, mud, shells, sticks, corn, dress-up clothes, cardboard boxes, blanket sheets, bubbles, baby pools, inner tubes, containers, tunnels, cardboard tubes, pool noodles, balls, and regular playground equipment. The list is pretty much endless. Regular scrap, like we'll go to the Playmobile, there's tires out there, there's tubing from a corrugated black tubing that goes from pipes, there's a toilet seat, there's things from your kitchen, pots and pans. All those things can be considered loose parts. Kids love to play with them. So here's some pictures of some of the loose parts. Anything. That's a picture of the inside of the Playmobile. We see the pool noodles and the hoops and the big ball. Over here in the corner is more scrap loose parts. In the middle, more pots and pans, bamboo, a great thing. The tarps and sheets. The kids created all this. Parents were involved. Tires, other scrap boxes, and then up there the pool noodles and the black corrugated tube. So if everybody could get in groups, like get in the same groups you worked with when Linda was in here, if y'all could go back into those groups, I'm going to give y'all a bag of loose parts, and you're going to have about 5 minutes to come up with a bunch of activities you can come up with that pack. Okay? So you get the idea of playing with loose parts. You don't have to have a lot and create physically active opportunities for kids. Just a little bit of stuff, and they'll get creative with it, and they don't think.
And the other thing, hopefully, you know, Sarah, is why you create a game, right? So you create rules, the adult have to make rules, right? You got to figure out who was first. You got to see variety of play of loose parts. You got to see what would happen if you have one loose part versus having multiple loose parts. If you have one ball for one kid, that's a problem, right? If you have multiple things that you can do, you can see a lot more play happen. And it's okay to have a range of play, whether it's from 1 to 5. Okay? Just because we're not heavy breathing all the time doesn't mean they're not being active. They can still be bending, twisting, rolling. Well, you can be doing other things in health and physically that aren't necessarily cardiovascular. Remember that as well. So just because you scored a 1 or something, people thought you won for a 1. Like I saw your first activity, you guys were balancing all those on the 1 noodle. That's very good for children. And it's a motor, not only 5, but first motor, but that doesn't take a lot of cardiovascular. So they want to be winning for it. That's super happy. So know that there is a range of healthy passages. Not always right.
So Playdaze. Playdaze is the day that we were talking about that's dedicated to play. It's being active and having fun. Just basically what we were doing, but it's an all-day thing or it's a 2-hour thing. It's whatever you want it to be, but it's dedicating a day to play. It celebrates the value of play. Diverse play opportunities are involved, and it uses loose parts or portable play equipment. And the official days are the 3rd weekend in September, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But Playdaze can happen any day, play every day. That's what we like to have. So that's a play days. And we encourage everybody here, since you are a shaping site, to start planning a play days and hold a play days. And there are 10 major steps to hold a play days. And with that, we have things that help. We have a play days planner. We have the 10 steps online, and then I'm always available for help too. So learn about play days. Go visit a play days. Take this. You're taking this course today, but also we have a webinar that's online that you can sit and listen to, and it's a great overview of what a play days is all about. So learn about it. Talk to Annie. Talk to Rhonda. All these people who have done play days in the past are great resources, and they don't mind talking to you about their successes and their roadblocks that they've come across. Gather a planning team. One person planning a play days is kind of tough. If you've got a group of people that can do it, it makes it a whole lot easier. Divide and conquer. Decide on a location. That's probably one of your first things once you have your planning team together. Decide on a date and a location and get that done. Register your play days with us so that we can help you. We can make sure that you have the tools that we can share with you to make it easier. Gather support or funding. Talk to your parents if you're doing it at your center, if you're doing it in a neighborhood, talk to your neighbors. But gather support or funding. It's a whole lot easier if other people are helping you with things, with materials, or with money, than for you to do it by yourself. Create an action plan. Plan out what you're going to do and know what materials you need each setting or what activities you're going to have. Recruit volunteers, promote your play days, gather those materials, and then once you've done all that, have your play days, it's super successful, and all the parents are happy that a kid left crying, then you can reflect and evaluate after the event. And if you have an event and nobody leaves crying, that's excellent. Because the kids are going to want to stay and play even longer. But we have play days resources that are online, and I have some for y'all to take home today as well. We have the 10 steps to holding a play days. We also have a volunteer facilitator orientation handout, and that just basically tells the volunteers how to volunteer, how to behave. Don't get too involved in play, like you don't have to, because volunteers, they don't have to do everything for the child, let the child need to play. Pocket play days planner, which is over here, and it's updated. The pocket play cards, which are really cool. Basically, it has play settings inside with all the materials you need. It has recipes for play, for bubbles, for play, that kind of stuff. Face paint, it has a recipe for that, and other paints if you were doing that kind of thing. We also have an example flyer online that you can use. We also have a new downloadable flyer that you can fill in your own information so that it's all done for you. We have postcards, posters, and webinar that I talked about earlier. They're all great resources that are available for you guys. And these are just examples of play areas. And I'm going to try to bring up so we can get out to the PLAYMOBILE and you can actually see some of these areas. But game creation, they created their own game fort building, fairy garden, mud cafe, you saw the mud slinging. I think some of those would be scary to some people, but I love mud slinging, I think it's great. Nature art, sand and water play, book, lawn games, bubble play, cardboard challenge, leaf prints, creek play, sidewalk chalk art, and scrap play. That's just a list of some of them. People come up with their own all the time, so don't feel like you're obligated to do just these or a couple of these. Come up with your own ideas. But it just basically is a play area that you can start from and what you want to do. And these are pictures from past play days. You can see the tires down at the bottom, cardboard box, bubbles, strap tires, and that's what the bamboo bars, a little bit of risk play. It's great. The soft blocks over here kids play with, and the traditional playground are supposed to be from some of the others. Like I said, we also have play pods, which are the stationary units, where it's just a shed full of loose parts. It helps to redefine recess, and give outline recess and new ideas for the kids. It's unstructured still, and kids are active and having a great time. And this is the PLAYMOBILE. We're going to see that in a few minutes. It's very play tight. So this travels around Warren County, and then at other times it travels outside the county. It's expensive to travel, but we're working on new PLAYMOBILEs for 2018. So stay tuned on that one. And this is the clip from the 2013 play days where the PLAYMOBILE comes and drops off today.
Bruce Cunningham.
Good morning.
And what do you think if you were to mention some of the core values for having this kind of play days or play environment, what would they be?
Let the kids do it. Let them figure out what they want to do. You give them freedom, but you support them and provide them with protection. We don't want injuries. We want imagination and run wild. And that's why the playground is sort of neutral. We don't have a fire truck play structure. We have whatever those kids think that is today. It could be something different tomorrow. We've seen kids this morning build forts out of everything imaginable. You know, when the kids are happy, they learn better. The teachers, I think, had their eyes open today. This is really cool.
It's good to hear. Now, where do you see this going? Where do you see it going in the future?
Hopefully around the county.
Very good. All right, thank you, Bruce. So Robin, after coming out to a play days here at Southern Pines, the Campbell House, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the play that you're seeing? And the designer in you, what kind of things are you seeing in that bamboo farce? You know, the construction or deconstruction that these kids are doing. I mean, what do you think about it?
It's very much like classic adventure play, right? So adventure play, which is very environmentally based, and it's full of loose parts, and essentially you're giving permission to the kids to figure out their own creative enterprise, whatever it is, right? As a community. And so it doesn't really need any design as such, it just needs to be managed from that point of view.
What do you girls think of play days?
They are awesome.
So what do you think about today? Awesome. In one word, awesome. What do you think about it?
I think I'm proud of myself.
You're proud of yourself for doing this kind of stuff here?
Yeah.
I fully believe that children need to play, they need free play, they need to explore, and I hope it starts a great movement in that direction.
Very nice. And is there, when looking around at this entire chaotic but fun play event, what are you noticing? Like, do you see things that surprise you, or do you see things that make you happy?
Well, I'm very happy. I'm surprised, I think, by how some of them are just taking to it naturally and just trying things. That's what play is all about. It's about exploring your space and trying things and learning through play. I believe children learn through play.
And I love the fact that they're using their imagination and kind of doing whatever they come up with. So they're developing their own ways to be active, as opposed to like me, a PE teacher, telling them what to do, being really structured. They're just seeing the kids build things on their own and really take control. Because, you know, as a teacher, you're used to telling them what to do, but here it was like they were telling you what to do. It's like, hey, let's put this here and hook this here and let's put this together into a fort. And I was like, okay, let's do that. So it was a lot of fun just getting on their level. And so that was
We're going to go ahead and stop there. Sorry about that. Just so we can have some time to go out to the Playmobile, because I think we have like 10 minutes left. 20 minutes left. Even better. We have more time at the Playmobile. So if you want to stay connected to us online, we have Facebook, Pinterest, our website. There's multiple ways to stay connected to us on the internet. And then there's also resources down here. We have a bunch of one-pages of how to play with loose parts. The play pod, or the pocket play cards and then the Playdaze planner if you want that. So you can pick up those as you leave. If you want, go ahead and throw the socks back to the aisle. We won't be able to use those. I know. Don't cry too much. If you need to cry, use socks. But we're going to head outside to the Playmobile.